You're listening to a podcast from the Finnish Football Show. Yes, it's the Finnish Football Show. I'm Mark Wiltshire. I'm joined today by Rich. Hi, Rich.
Hello.
And by Keke. Hi, Keke.
Terve.
And we're here to preview the second round of qualifying fixtures for Euro 2024 as Finland take on Slovenia and San Marino in Group H. We're going to talk through the Finland squad in some detail, welcoming the new faces, speculating on the team selection, formations, etc. And we're going to cover the Huuhkajat opponents in much less detail. So sorry about that. I think we proved quite how little detail we had to say about these other teams in the last preview episode. And when there's not a lot of information to be found out there for the San Marino squad, if I'm completely honest. Even if we did know who they were, I couldn't find a squad listing easily when I was trawling through Twitter. But I think if we just start with the squad selections, and I think last time we went through through the squad section by section, starting with the goalkeepers and the defence, and let's just have a little talk first of all about who's in, who's out, and maybe the new faces that are in there. So how about Keke, if I throw you the softball to start with? We've got three goalkeepers: Viljami Sinisalo, Lukas Radetsky, and Jesse Joronen, which no real changes there.
No, I mean, they're the ones you would expect. Obviously, Rich has spoken about Viljami Sinisalo before. He's making more and more bench appearances for Aston Villa in the Premier League. So he's up and coming keeper. Carl-Johan Eriksson, who was been in and out of recent squads as well. He's made his loan move to Nordjylland permanent from Dundee United. So now he's got a bit more of a permanent home. We might see him dip in and out again. But yeah, three keepers. There's no real surprises. You'd expect the obviously Radetsky, Jesse Joronen, and then Sinisalo picking up some valuable experience with the squad. So yeah, pretty standard stuff. Obviously, I think we'll all expect Lukas Radetsky to start. I mean, Jesse Joronen might get a game against the slightly smaller team in San Marino, where they might see that as an opportunity to get Jesse some minutes under his belt. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, nothing to worry about in that position, mate.
No, I think that's quite a good point. Actually, I hadn't thought about that, but that would make sense to just rotate it through. They're all at the end of a long season, and give Luke the more challenging game, and then let Jesse take the game against San Marino, which really we should be winning.
Indeed.
Looking at the defence, there's a large list of players. I've got something to say about this, but I'll let Rich go first. So I'll read across the list here. There's Urunen, Richard Jensen, Hoskonen, Thomas, Henho, Ivanov, Alho, Soeri, Ollila, and Pallas. What about you, Rich? What struck you about the squad there?
Well, I mean, there's obviously some big absences with injury. O'Shaughnessy's still not there. The Bisonans are both missing as well. Tenho, he's returned recently to Huuhkajat starting 11. He'd been injured for quite some time. It's difficult because I think we're still kind of seeing where these gaps are in the squad and who's filling them. And again, depending on the formation that River chooses for each game, does he go with a 4 or 5 or 3 or whatever? And I think Thomas has done really well in Norway since he's moved over from Cups. And I think, whether he's sort of ready to start a game, I don't know. But you'd assume that Ivanov, Jensen would be 2. And then from there, you're looking at Hoskonen done well as well when he's played. So it's a settled-ish thing, but you just look and see. And then, as always, as we talk about on here, the fullbacks or the wing backs are kind of up for discussion, really, because when you look at, Jero Urunen is, he's just got relegated with Schalke. I think he's been released as well. Ivanov also, I believe, is also being released by his club in Poland. So, but then you've got Olila, who's that goal-scoring fullback from Ilves, and he's carried on at Huuhkajat this season. Pallas, he was in one. I think he was in one of the winter squads and made his debut then.
Mm-hmm.
So, you've got some Veikkausliiga players in there, so it's nice for that. But again, it's just Alho, Soiri against decent opposition, and we'll have to be honest, Slovenia are pretty good. They're going to get tested, assuming that at least one of them will play, and probably Urunen on the left.
Yeah, I dropped into for the listener or the viewer. If you look just down below where you're watching this, there's a link to the blog post, and in the blog post, I just sort of drop in a picture of the squad, which is, let's say, donated by Palolito to the cause. Thank you, Palolito. And I dropped in the new squad just above the old squad while I was setting things up, and I left it there just for the time being, because something struck me that in the previous squad we named 7 defenders, and in this squad we've named 10, which makes me think that might be reverting to a sort of 3 centre backs and 2 wing backs, because there's a lot more players in there to potentially choose from. And I don't think any of us were completely convinced with a back 4 in the last few games, and there's several of those wing backs in there that can start and actually come on and change things too.
Yeah, I mean, even obviously we'll move on to the midfield, but there's a couple of names in the midfield who River doesn't mind deploying in a sort of wing back, position. So yeah, I mean, just touching on the defenders there. Obviously, Rich said about O'Shaughnessy and the absence of the Väisänen brothers. Leo Väisänen's picked up an injury in MLS that keeps him out till September, I believe. So that's a shame. But I mean, we've gone on extensively about the change in the defence since Arayuri and Toivio hung up their international boots, and it's once we got a little bit settled with some new faces, and then they've dipped out through injury or loss of form or whatever, and it just feels like it's a sort of ever changing thing, the Finland defence at the moment. But yeah, I've got to agree with Rich. I think Ivanov, Jensen, Oskanen's been playing well when he's been playing in Poland since he's moved. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see those 3.
I'd like to bring in some comments from ASICOR manager Joaquin Gomez. I don't know if this has been said publicly, but this was said to me directly, questioning what exactly it is the ASICOR defenders have to do to get a chance. Ville Tikkanen and Mate Radetzky are playing in a squad that's conceded 3 goals in 11 games this season. But it's just not cool or trendy to select players from other Veikkausliiga squads, maybe than Huuhkajat, and the occasional.
Well, if they sign for Huuhkajat, then they'll get a call up.
Thanks, Rich. That's very helpful. Well, I don't think I'm going to be suggesting that, but in a way, it's a fair point, and maybe we'll touch on that subject a little bit more when we get to the forward line as well.
This is an international episode, and he still manages to strong arm SUK in there. Golden
with direct quotes for the ears of the Finnish Football Show listeners. What can I say?
In the know.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got another little off-air anecdote for you afterwards. I'm really treating you two to all the goodies. This is really, it's not that exciting, and it's not good for for broadcast. Not interesting enough for broadcast. But anyway,
there you go.
So let's forget all that nonsense and move on to the. Let's do the midfield. So it's we got Robert Taylor, Glenn Kamara, Rasmus Schüller, Suhonen, Maanpää, Niskinen, Kairinen and Peltola. Keke, you were saying before about certain players in there that could be deployed wide and as attacking wing backs. But one notable absence from the midfield as well.
Yeah, I mean, Robert Taylor, soon to be teammate of Lionel Messi, is one who we've seen sort of deployed in a wing back or slightly further back winger role, and Ilmari Niskanen, who's just been relegated with Dundee United, unfortunately. Actually, Niskanen came into some half decent form himself towards the end of the SPFL season, and chipped in with a goal and a couple of assists, but ultimately wasn't enough to save Dundee United. But yeah, he's another one who's familiar with that position. But yeah, cracking midfield. Kai Kairinen's just picked up a Championship League winners medal in Czechia, yeah, with Sparta Prague. So yeah, kudos to him. But I think the notable absentee you're talking about is Robin Lodd, maybe. Yeah, he's had an operation, picked up an injury, had an operation, so that's what keeps him out. But Rasmus Schuller's in fantastic form. He's had a couple of man of the match performances recently. Anssi Suhonen is back playing for Hamburg. So yeah, I mean, there's creativity still in there, even with the absence of Lod.
Yeah, and I mean, it's surprising. Obviously, I'm show my bias again, but Nisila isn't in the squad. I mean, he's been amazing for cups since his return around Easter time.
He should move to Huuhkajat, Rich.
Well, yeah. And again, though, it's just shows really that the whatever reasoning behind his move to Korea, which didn't ultimately work out, come back to cups, and he's on a short-term contract. I mean, again, Finland isn't a shop window as such, and his contract initially runs till July, although now there's talk of extending it. But he's really the form player in the Vegas League at the moment, like individually anyway. And it's a surprise he's not in a squad. I know, like, we're kind of touching on the borders of the forward line as well now, but Simon Scrab has been doing really well as well since I mean, he's been riddled with injury and bad luck and whatever, but he's been doing really. Kalmar, he's at now?
Kalmar, yeah.
And he's been doing really well. And again, he's a player who 3-4 years ago, that team that qualified for the Euros, he was very much a squad regular. I think he may have been even on the pitch at the Liechtenstein game.
Well, so was half of Helsinki.
Well, so was Keke, yeah. But no, it's there's embarrassment of riches and such. And as he said about the wing backs, I'm sure even was Ant-Man a winger in one of the recent games. Wing back.
He certainly played wide up front, didn't he? Yeah, that's
true. I think one of the games he played from wing back. But I mean, it's a strong side. Again, Schuller's a dead cert at the start. I think Kamara, he's not played much for Rangers. I mean, he'll be due a move, but puts on that Finland shirt, he still steps up. So again, it's just who do they put in that three? Do they, without Lod, who would be kind of the first choice of the kind of attacking midfielders? There's opportunity for someone there. I mean, Suhonen has been arguably playing at the higher level and doing well, but again, he's not. He got sent off in his last game, didn't he? So, it's a decent looking midfield, and you've got a lot of depth there, which is nice. And there's obviously a bit more structure to it than perhaps the wing back side, anyway. So the kind of spine of the team looks relatively settled.
But we'll have a look at the two specific games and who might line up in each one, because that will definitely make a difference, I suspect. But looking at the forward line, we've got Teemu Pukki, Joel Pohjanpalo, Benjamin Chelman, Oliver Antman, and Daniel Hawkins. And this is one I've got something to say about. But beforehand, it's noticeable from the previous game that Fredrik Jensen and Marcus Forss are not in the squad, and there's only 5 forwards this time instead of 6. So Hawkins comes in, and that fills the forward line this time. Any particular reasons for Jensen and Forss being out?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, Forss was playing quite well and regularly for Middlesbrough at the tail end of the season. Don't know much about Jensen, but it's just a bit strange. I mean, I guess whatever the reason, end of a long season and playoffs and that. I mean, that might have had something to do with balls at least. But when you think that surely they'll be rotating again. Most of the rest of that squad have had a long season, for those playing in the kind of mainstream leagues anyway. So you think there'll be some. I can't imagine there'll be many players playing a full 90 on Friday will start at least against San Marino on the Monday. So yes, I mean, there's favourites and then there's form, and it's difficult because River's never going to not play Teemu Pukki if he's fit. Yet Poyampalo is the form centre forward, and yet when the two of them play together, generally it's not great. There was one of the games, I think it was at Romania in the Nations League last year. One of the halftime kind of analysis showed that basically two of them were like tied on a piece of string together, and they kept following each other around, and they were taking up the same spaces. So I wonder if that's part of what they might have to look at. And I mean, obviously Ant-Man offers something very different that we've seen in his few games so far. Chelman, got a good record as well. So I mean, Slovenia is obviously the tougher game and that, but I mean, whether San Marino are going to be the whipping boys or not, I mean, Finland should win that. But again, how lightly do you take it if you're sort of planning ultimately for qualifying and a tough autumn?
Yeah, and
so,
I mentioned.
Freddie,
go on, Keke,
sorry, mate. I was just going to say, Freddie Jensen's he signed a new contract with Augsburg quite recently. So obviously he's a valued member of their squad, and he usually gets a nod. I don't know if there's any sort of knock he's picked up or anything, but it's nice to see Daniel Hawkins step in. He's where is he?
Vålerenga.
Vålerenga, yeah. Scored the other week and did his little Taria cha celebration on the pitch, which was fantastic. But yeah, exciting. I mean, I can't even remember how old he is now, but
he's only 22, and has been came through probably at the age of 18 at Asukor, and we saw him develop over the years, and then a year and into a player that was quite happy to get the ball at his feet and go and dribble with it. So I'd be interested to see if that's still how he's playing. And he scored a few goals, not prolifically, but this year he scored 3 and 1 assist in 8 games that he started, I think, for Vålerenga. And it was quite interesting because he left midway through last season, left Asukor, played 15 times for us, then moved on loan to FC Jerv, played 7 out of 7 for them, and then moved there permanently. And then during the closed season, Vålerenga bought him.
Yeah,
and that's a step up because Vålerenga's a side that you hear playing in Europe regularly, and I mean, I suspect that like me, the other Asukor fans are proud of one of their young boys coming through, going into a bigger league and getting into the national team. So maybe they don't have to go to Huuhkajat; they just need to leave the country to get noticed.
I've seen that as well.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah.
True that. Okay. So that's the squad itself, and now the 2 specific fixtures. In the show notes, I did find a squad for Slovenia on Twitter. So, and they've named 3 keepers, 8 defenders, 9, 10 midfielders, and only 2 forwards. So that suggests a kind of 5-3-2, 3-5-2, 4-5-1 type lineup. And worth noting that their previous 2 games, they beat Kazakhstan 2-1 away, and we know that Kazakhstan are no mugs. And then they beat Slovenia they beat San Marino only 2-0 at home. So they sit top of the group at the moment with 6 points from 2 games. Denmark are second with 3 points, having lost to Kazakhstan. Then Kazakhstan are third on 3 points. Finland are fourth on 3 points, and Northern Ireland are fifth on 3 points. So it's after 2 games, it's pretty tight at the moment.
Go
on.
I'll tell you what though, their they're not a muggy team, Slovenia. I mean, some of their squad are playing in decent leagues. There's a couple of players at Udinese. A couple of players are in the Greek Super League with Panathinaikos, I believe. Yeah, there's a couple in the Polish league. So our lads who play in Poland will be familiar with them. But I think their recent record, I don't think they've lost in 8 games.
Yeah, I think they've won 5, drawn 3.
Yeah, that includes a 1-1 away to Sweden in the Nations League. Yeah, so and a 2-1 win over Norway in the Nations League as well. So you know they're not to be taken lightly, old Slovenia.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree with that. And if they're top at this stage, then they're there to be shut down, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I put a little thing out on Twitter. You know, if anyone had any great insight into any of these, and my friend Kevin Mosley did do some research for us again, pointing out what Keke did. Yeah, they haven't lost in 8 games, but they the last time Finland played them was 10 years ago, and Finland won 2-0. So Moisander and Hämäläinen, who are still playing but not in the squad. So
yeah,
yes, but yeah, he also did provide some input, well, around statistics around San Marino anyway. But yeah, it's just an unknown quantity, aren't they? Just a banter Twitter account now, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like just with Slovenia, there's Benjamin Sesko plays at Red Bull Salzburg. So these are teams that are, you know, in sort of European competition. Clubs you may not necessarily have heard of Slovenian players, but you've definitely heard of the clubs that they're playing for. So yeah, you know, and they seem to, obviously from their recent results, they seem to gel quite well as a team. But as Rich said, when was it, Rich? 10 years ago that we last played them.
Yeah,
and that was a 2-0 win. So the momentum's firmly with us.
And the stadium, the Olympia Stadium in Helsinki for this game will be as near as full as is possible. Really, the last time I saw it was 30,000 plus tickets sold for 32,000 capacity. Any updates on that since the last show?
I haven't heard anything, but I think Slovenia did return most of their allocation to go on top of that. So I mean, there might be the odd singles here and there on the day, but I mean, Palalita have got a competition at the moment with a alcohol-free beer sponsor to watch the game pitch side from a hot tub, and they're providing mobile saunas outside the stadium as well to get into the experience. I won't name the beer because they haven't given me any, but.
Fancy ruining a hot tub and sauna experience by drinking alcohol-free beer as well. It seems a bit pointless. But also it's going to be really hot in Helsinki on Friday. They're looking to be in sort of 25 to 28 degrees. So I think the whole stadium's going to feel like a bit of a sauna. But that's as in, but less a sauna. Hopefully more of a cauldron for those Slovenia players to come out and play football in. What do we think of the team? I mean, what you were saying before about the more solid, experienced midfielders. I'm wondering if it might be a 3-man midfield of Kamara, Shula, and Kairinen, with maybe Taylor to come on, and a couple of strikers up front, and start with the more experienced team against the stronger opponents in this first game. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. He's going to go with the experience against this opening fixture, the tougher opponent. You know, so yeah, I think you'll definitely see Rasmus Schüller in there holding the midfield and trying to pull the strings. Glenn Kamara definitely. We spoke about the centre backs. You know, even off Jensen probably get the nod, and then yeah, depending if it's the 5, you know, you Taylor, Niskanen, Uronen might get a run out, you know. But yeah, I do think they've got to go for it. You know, we're at home. You've mentioned the full house, so we've got to go for it. But yeah, I think it's in a way these fixtures are quite nice because hopefully you can get sort of 3 points on the board against Slovenia at home, or at least get your strongest team out, and then do a bit of rotation for the San Marino game. But yeah, I don't think River will take any chances. I think we'll see his strongest team against Slovenia.
And if any of the listeners or viewers are going to the game on Friday, I will be there wearing this T-shirt. If you see me wearing the Finnish Football Show Suomi T-shirt, then do come up and say hello. And if you've seen me there before and said hello, I'm going to say it again. Keke's friends that he travels around Europe with watching the Huuhkajat often come up and say hello. So if you're one of Keke's friends, come and remind me of that fact. I won't remember everyone I speak to this time or from last time. So yeah, be gentle with me. What about Monday then? Let's wrap it up just by looking at the San Marino game. If we think that that's a game we should win, that we're strong enough to win that, and we've talked about maybe some of the players changing, who do you think might get a run out, Rich, on Monday against San Marino?
I'd imagine when you're looking at the spine again, assuming Pukki and Pohjanpalo don't play together on Friday, I guess Pohjanpalo will probably play on Monday. Other than that, I guess River kind of does keep an eye on those yellow cards, bans approaching and stuff. I don't think we're quite as cynical as a Marino team would get yourself booked and miss the San Marino game. But I haven't got the list of bookings so far to hand. But I think ultimately River's going to pay them the respect that this is a team to put out to win. He's not going to put kids out for the sake of it, but still going to put out a strong team. And there are even the other players in the squad, there should be sufficient to come in and really kind of be on the front foot. And they're going to have to be, because Finland, talked about before, up until 4 or 5 years ago, Finland were almost always the underdog in the team. They were, playing defensively, playing on the back foot. Now they've got to play the other way, and it happens more and more. And especially, against San Marino, it's going to happen. They're going to put 11 behind the ball and, either hope for one on the break or hope Finland have an off day. I think they've just got to be disciplined and structured and stick to a formation and take chances and that kind of thing. And just don't do anything silly.
Yeah, I can see Ant-Man getting if he doesn't get a chance on Friday, I can see Ant-Man getting a chance on Monday. We've seen what he can do. He's quite a pacey player. He's got quite long legs, isn't he? But he still seems quite pacey. So yeah, I think we might see Ant-Man try and break through that San Marino defence. But yeah, Rich is right. They'll probably try and pack it out, and it's down to us to try and breach that defence and get a few goals on the board. But yeah, I'd be looking out for Oliver Ant-Man on Monday.
Yeah, I think was it the Montenegro game in the Nations League? They defended quite deeply, and I think it was a combination of Ant-Man and Chalman were able to work in that kind of narrow space. They didn't need room to run onto the ball. Ant-Man was quite direct from the wing, and Chalman was operating really well inside the box. Against San Marino, they're not going to leave that space, so you need to be creative, whether it's step overs, things like that, the little flicks and tricks, because you're not going to have the opportunity to run in behind them. So again, it's just, I think it was that game. I think Chalman looked like he'd been watching the old original Ronaldo and some of the things there. And I think he's going to have to, look to find those opportunities on Monday night.
So what do we think about some score predictions? How do we feel about this, Rich? For Finland versus Slovenia first.
I'll sit on the fence and get some more splinters. But say 1-1.
1-1. All right. And let me. Yep, here we go. Keke, what about you? What are you thinking?
Because I like to be the eternal optimist, I'm going to say Finland are going to nick that one 2-1, which I have to caveat by saying will be a tremendous result.
Yeah, it definitely would be. Definitely would be. And I'm going to go, I think there'll be goals. I don't think 1-0, but it might be tight. I'll go 1-0 just to be different to you two. And what about San Marino.
I'll go 3-0.
3-0. And Keke.
Well, I think Estonia beat San Marino away 4-0 recently.
Okay.
I know we had our own slip up against our neighbours across the Baltic Sea, San Marino, in a friendly not so long ago. But I'm going to say 4-0 as well. Finland to do San Marino 4-0 away from home.
And I'm going to say 4-1 because I think we've got a slip up there. A little mistake, but a win anyway.
Stuart Pearce giving the ball away in the first 7 seconds.
Something like that. Yeah, exactly. We will come back to these in our match report episode. So we're gonna review both games in one show in about a week's time, the Wednesday after the San Marino game. So because the weekend is busy and I'm going to be away in Helsinki for most of it. So, and then we go straight into San Marino game. So we'll be back together on Wednesday, the 21st or something like that. And we'll get that episode out as soon as we can after that. The predictions are there and we can come back to those and see if we know anything about football at all, or if, as we've been demonstrating for 7.5 years, we're just hopeless bluffers. Right, Keke.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Kiitos.
Rich, thanks for joining.
Hey.
Listener, viewer, if you want to watch these games, there's links in the blog post where you can find them on Yle 2 or on Yle Arena here in Finland. There's a few other useful links in there. Enjoy the games, and until the next episode of Finnish Football Show, thanks a lot. Goodbye. You've been listening to the Finnish Football Show. You can find us online at finishfootballshow.com. Remember to subscribe to the show wherever you're listening or watching. You can follow the Finnish Football Show page and group on Facebook and also on Instagram. See the links in the episode description. You can also connect with the 5 hosts on Twitter, at Explore Finland, at FC Suomi, at Escape to Suomi, at Keke Muleri, and at Mano99. Links to the Finnish Football Show merch stores are also in the episode description.